Hey guys, whoa. We're back. I'm Alex and I'm here today with Will.
Yes, I'm here. As you can notice, I am driving.
Yeah.
Some things have gone on at work, so I'm putting in some more hours and stuff like that. We got the baby on the way, which I believe we talked about last time.
Woo.
Things are happening, but it couldn't go too long without having a flashback.
Yeah. So
So
this
we're
is
making it work. We're making time right now. I'm
yeah.
going to be eating while we do it too, but hey, it's fun.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
So this is yes. Yeah, flashbacks. Fuck it. But yeah, anyway, this is flashbacks. And I'm not gonna have my full recap this time, guys. It's gonna be off the cuff. Forgive me, but to me, this episode has been reviewed for centuries. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna try to do this just off the top of my head. So, we the episode is called Out of Time, and it's aptly named because this is the first time travel episode. Do you remember, like, because I know obviously you watched it and it like the first run. Do you remember how you felt when you watched this episode before we kind of get through the recap?
Yeah, so initially I thought this whole first season was really just going to be more of like a crime mystery kind of thing, trying to
Mm.
chase down whoever the Reverse Flash was. We were going to figure it all out. And he was just going to end up behind bars. I didn't know that they were going to go the full time travel route right away. Nice.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, it was very interesting. Yeah, this episode was when I was like, oh, so that's what they're doing. You know, it was
Yeah,
this
what
was kind of
the
like the climax actually for me.
Yeah. And it's speaking of like we've talked about Smallville before. This episode kind of gave me Smallville vibes a little bit. Sometimes they would do
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and get into the recap. We're already getting too far into the episode. So anyway, I'm gonna start out. So we open up with the two Martin brothers that were introduced in the pilot flying in the plane, and then the main guy is the one that's the weather wizard in the comics, not the one that was in the first episode, but Mark, I think, is the main like original weather wizard. And
Yes.
so one of them dies, and then the other one he thought his brother died, but then later on we obviously find out through watching the pilot that like the one we originally introduced to dies, and then he comes back and I guess I'll get to this part since I'm already talking about him. He tortures the coroner and trying to figure out what happened to his brother,
Yep.
and he like basically like he goes on a revenge quest against like Joe, and then Singh ends up taking the brunt of that. And then kind of like the B plot that's introduced too is the whole thing with Iris and Barry. There's a moment at the bowling alley where um two siblings are like, or step I'm gonna be fair, step siblings, but still it's weird, are like flirting and stuff like that. And then like two people are made to feel like they're the third wheel, even though it's two step siblings.
Yeah, definitely. So Barry and Iris kind of have this relationship where they're siblings, but it's very clear that because they're not real step siblings or like half siblings, that there's always been this underlying kind of affection or tension between the two of them.
Yeah.
It plays out really well in this episode during the bowling alley scene, and you can definitely see Linda and Eddie's visible frustration with the situation. And it's like, dude, come on, if you're with me, like be with me. You can't be doing this. I don't care how close you are. At some point, I want to be the person that you do those things with, not your brother.
Yeah. And then we get Linda confronting Iris again after both Eddie and Barry have to leave. And
Yep.
so that whole thing happens, and then we go further into it. That kind of seedy guy that works, he's not seedy, he's just kind of weird. The guy that works at the Central City Picture News is like kind of saying like,
Yeah.
yo, like to Barry, like I got it's either the Barry or someone else. Like he tells one of the members of Team Flash, I think it's Barry, that he has like
Mm.
evidence kind of thing. And
Yeah.
Cisco suspects things too about about like Wells, and so he asks Caitlin to go and distract him while they're working on that. And so like there's a moment where also Cisco makes like a weather wand thing to stop the weather wizard. But so Cisco's
You're
doing that. What's up? Oh yeah. And then so Cisco's like trying to set that up, and then we get kind of a creepy moment where at Jitters like they take it to go Caitlin and Wells do, but like he turns around or she turns around and he's already gone, and it goes back there and like he's replaying all the stuff and discovers the speed mirage thing, and then we get the famous
yeah.
line, the one I was referencing earlier, where like it's weird, right? Because this is like one of the things where we really see how layered this version of Reverse Flash is, where it's just so creepy how like comfortable he is in his own skin, and just how like he's like he you can tell he actually does feel bad for what he's about to do, but he has to take out Cisco so that his plans aren't revealed, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It's very reminiscent of, I guess, some other stuff too, where I guess I'm trying to think of. So it reminds me recently of like an Omni Man situation in Invincible,
Yeah.
where it's like, uh, I don't want to do this, but I have to. It's my responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna regret doing this. But or Thanos when he had to get rid of Gamora, actually
Yeah.
in Endgame. That's probably a better description.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing too, is like we see this other side to them, and then they use this in a lot of edits, like the whole like it's Eobard Thawne doing like this, like just like that whole point thing. Like I've seen that so many times, and then actually seeing this episode, it's like, oh, that's where that comes from. Because I used to see it so much whenever there's like a reverse flash versus like any other speedster or something like that. Like they always
Yep.
cut to that as like his like winning thing. And yeah, like it was really good. We obviously see like there's this big epic moment where first off Joe gets kidnapped by one of the Martin brothers, and then he's like tied up and there's this giant tidal wave, and Barry, like before Barry runs off, like basically Iris confesses her feelings to him. They kiss, and then like he like runs, and early on in the episode we see like a kind of like blurry image of like another speedster, and we find out that that's like future Barry like traveling back in time. And then the episode ends right there with him basically landing in like the beginning of the episode and then going, oh boy, which is actually, I didn't even notice this was a reference to, I don't know if you've ever heard of Quantum Leap before, like the TV show.
Yeah. TV
Yeah.
show. Yeah. They
Yeah.
did a reboot recently.
Yeah, his famous saying was "Oh boy," apparently. So like that was a little neat Easter egg to it. And then I was gonna go into some goofs because I actually found some different stuff, and then we can go into this is one of my favorite episodes, and it's actually one of the highest viewed episodes of season one, actually.
Yeah. While you're looking at that, I'll mention one thing, kind of on topic but off topic. Reverse Flash is such a great villain, and this really made me appreciate him. I
Hmm.
think more than ever, and especially in this series. And I know that they're planning on doing stuff with the Flash and the DCU, which I'm sure we'll cover on here going forward.
Yeah,
So I guess
definitely.
it's not really off topic because this is a Flash podcast. Um, so I decided who I want to play Eobard in the DCU
Ooh,
under James
okay.
Gunn. I just want to start a campaign right here for it. I
Hmm.
think Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander in The Boys, would be an amazing Eobard.
He'd
He
actually
plays
be,
the evil character so well.
yeah. Yeah, he actually I've seen that fan cast before. And now I'm just picturing him going, Barry, look at me. He'd be
Very
great though.
fucking badass, like
Yeah.
he did with A-Train.
Yeah, yeah. Well, oh
You're not
yeah, he
fast
took
enough,
like
Barry.
Yeppers too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so funny. Um,
You could definitely picture Reverse Flash with some milk.
Definitely. And then apparently this was just like them paying really close attention to detail. Thawne tells Cisco that he's been marooned here in this place for 15 long years. Indeed, this episode aired on March 17th, 2015, while Nora Allen was murdered by Thawne during the night of March 18th, 2000. This makes Thawne's statement remarkably precise. So I guess they did their math. I don't know.
Yeah, which shows you just how calculated he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that shows you how calculated he is.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's like some other stuff like oh, there's like a weird goof in this where there's like a few. Martin puts tape over Joe's mouth even though they're out of earshot from anyone who could be alerted, which is just kind of funny.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I don't get the purpose behind that.
I don't know. It probably just looked good. But and then additionally, Martin doesn't bind his right hand and even allows him to use binoculars with it. Joe could easily remove the tape with his hand. That's kind of
True.
funny. Yeah, and then oh, I didn't notice this. When Eobard says in many ways his voice is out of sync with his mouth. That's interesting. That happens though. Like there's like, that happens all the time with like syncing and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. This is one of the big episodes, and it's like just a really good like Weather Wizard isn't amazing. He's not the main focus of this. We're focused on Reverse Flash and his like machinations and everything, and we really get to see in full force like Reverse Flash and what he's willing to do. Like we really see like he's willing to kill if it means like pursuing like his end goal, basically.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like that Thanos like villain where even though they might have a sympathetic moment here or there, and I wouldn't necessarily call Eobard super sympathetic,
Yeah.
but you see the bonds and the stuff that he's created with Cisco, with Barry, with Caitlin and the team, and so you can definitely see his almost remorse, but his
Yeah.
commitment to his duty.
Definitely. I mean, like 15 years, he is a patient man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess like with with so we finally get to see, even though it's immediately undone, we kind of get to see like Iris and Barry kind of kiss, even though he's kind of they're both cheating on the person they're with, which is like I'm like, are we supposed to cheer here? Like I don't know, guys.
It's not cheating if there's time travel.
Yeah, if you undo it immediately. That was my
Never happened.
variant.
That was my time. Was it a Mirage?
Time remnant.
Speed Mirage?
Yeah,
Something.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't think that's gonna work, Barry. I don't think Linda's gonna buy it, man. But yeah, they have no chemistry, bro. Like I'm seeing it now, like watching it again. I'm like that I'm sure they're nice people. Like Grant Gustin, I met the dude, he's nice. I'm sure like they're both nice people. They have no
yeah.
chemistry together though.
Him and Candace Patton.
Yeah, yeah, not at all.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it stays that way the whole time.
Yeah. Maybe they
I
fall
don't
into it
remember.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this episode was obviously great. I've been one of my go-to moves is this, and it's like so delayed, like the vibrating hand thing. So I'm like, we
Yes.
finally get to see that paid off. I remember seeing that at the time and just being shocked because I didn't know one that they were going to do time travel in this episode. So
Yep.
you're thinking everything's permanent, and they kind of like it's not like everything gets pushed back all the way. Like Smallville would sometimes do this where they would have some major crazy stuff happen, but because it was a prequel show, they couldn't go too crazy with it, and so like they'd have to immediately undo it by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just one of those like there's one sticking out in my mind particularly, like Infamous, where like he reveals his identity and everything, and there's that reporter that's like trying to expose him, and he like beats her to the punch kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a good one. And then, like the cops come and like shoot at Clark and everything. Maybe we should do a Smallville rewatch next after the
Hey,
Flash.
bro, I am down. We'll do one. I'll stay up every night and we'll do one for that.
You're
We
hearing
can
it
just
here
do one a
first,
day.
guys.
One a day.
Yeah, hearing it
I
here
love
first.
Smallville.
Me
Best
too, man.
superhero show of all time.
Oh, we're gonna definitely get into some Smallville with flashbacks. We're gonna cover every time Flash showed up in other media during our off season. So we'll definitely cover Bart
Ooh,
Allen and all that
Bart.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Impulse.
That'll be good. Yeah. So you guys got that to look forward to. I know coming up pretty soon. There's a Trickster episode coming up this season, but before that, we're gonna go back in time like this episode and go to the 90s show. But I guess I'll go ahead and get to my heart, humor, and spectacle. Because it
Yeah.
seems like that we kind of said what we need to. So my and overall, just before I get into that, like I really like this episode. Anyway, heart humor spectacle. So the heart would probably be just seeing actually unexpected seeing jump in the line of fire and like basically like take a bullet kind of for like his work like his people that are under him basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then humor, oh, the line with Wells where he's talking about like they're watching an old like movie and he makes that little crack about like, oh, this was before my time kind of thing. Jokes that are only funny to him. And then the spectacle would obviously be the time travel, the giant wave, and that forget the spectacle was the scene with Cisco and Thawne. Like that's the reason to kind of watch this episode, other than the time travel element to it.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I would say the heart is also part of that scene. Um,
Mhm.
just because you see he doesn't want to do it, but he has to because the
Yeah.
mission is the most important thing.
Mhm.
So it's kind of heart, but not in like a feel good way. It's more like you see the emotion in that scene. That's definitely the scene that everybody remembers from this, which is funny
Definitely.
because of the other stuff that happened. Humor, I would agree with you 100%. And I think I'm with you on spectacle too, because I remember at the time when we were watching this episode, we were all in college. And I remember after that, everybody going,
Oh yeah, that thing.
yeah,
Or
because that
doing
was
the.
just the coolest thing ever.
Do you remember
Coolest thing ever at that
the
time.
memes? Do you remember the memes from back then? Like there was that one of there was that one of the actor Tom Cavanaugh where he's like sitting in a tub like with beers all around. It's like, forgive me, but these beers have been empty for centuries.
Oh, I don't remember that. But I did see one that was like, this could be us, but you playing.
Well, I mean, if the whole villain thing doesn't work out, I know that the Reverse Flash has a future with let's just say intimate his intimate abilities.
Encounters. Yeah, he
Yes.
really gets straight to the heart.
Yeah. He can slow it down if you know what I mean. But yeah,
uh,
anyway, I would give it out of five lightning bolts, I'd probably give it five lightning bolts. This was a perfect episode.
I'm with you. This is we've had some other ones that I think we gave 5 out of 5, not because of necessarily how well put together they were, but because the spectacle itself was so great. This
Yeah,
one, I think the spectacle was so great, but also the episode just hit on every single beat the whole way through.
definitely. But yeah, I'm excited to see what comes next. This one didn't have a post credits thing. That's why I went back. Peek behind the curtain. We had watched this previously. We got some like I started a job recently, and so that's why we've had a little bit of delay. But so I went to go watch
I
it. I'm
watched
like,
it a
what?
week ago.
And it's like I went to go watch it. I'm like, wait, is that all that happens at the end? He just goes back in time, but I forgot that that's how it ends. So like they very like tight story with this one.
I watched this, I guess it was more than a week ago now. It's probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And then we were scheduled to do this, and then you had something come up, and we put it back another day. And then I had something come up, and we've just kind of been back and forth since then with our new jobs. But, man,
Yeah. Thank you for
fun
being patient
times.
with this, guys. We'll definitely have some more content coming up now. We're going to try to get on a more regular schedule. But until then, we will see you in the Speed Force.
See you in the Speed Force.
All right. And then